Welcome, Mastery in Sales, to Tuesday training call. So one of the things and the reason we do the training call on Tuesdays is Mondays is generally pretty busy for everybody, and Tuesdays just kind of works. Tuesdays kind of bookends the real work days between, let's say, Monday and Friday. So jumping in here, the other reason we do these is to accelerate your growth in sales and help you attain the knowledge it really takes to convert those. So one of the things we're going to do today, and Tracy's going to be hopping on here shortly, there's a little bit of technical difficulty today. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop on here and we're going to talk about the no. Okay, does the no control you? Oh, here she is. There we go. Hey, Tracy. You there? Maybe. Anyway, she'll join us in a second. All right. You're live, Tracy.
Can you see or hear me?
I can see and hear you now.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. So we were just actually starting to jump in here and talk about the no and does the no control you? Or is it the kiss?
Okay, awesome.
So one of the things, and I've really found this for myself after a lot of digging in and experimenting, because honestly, you're not a champion until you know what it may feel like to really struggle or even in some cases fail, honestly.
Right.
So for me, I've noticed the no represents a couple things, especially three categorically. Number one, confidence level. The confidence wasn't there. I just wasn't feeling it for the day. Or even it could be a misrepresentation of lack of preparation for that client. That's what a no represents. I'm not confident, I'm not prepared. And the third is generally my intuition. For some reason, I may not have listened to it, or I just didn't follow what I had to say. And that goes right back to my confidence level. Am I confident enough to really say what needs to be said? And over years and years and years of working on that, and really instilling that in not only the training, but the sales itself, and helping our clients get there, I've noticed those three categorically really, really catapult growth once you can identify those and really work through those. And that's what the no represents for me. So what have you noticed with clients or in yourself that represent, or how does the no represent to you?
So a couple things can happen. You can take the no personally, right? Which happens a lot of times if people are in a negative cycle within their own lives. Or you can also just understand that people are also on their own journey, right? And so as long as you see the call as this is your time to serve them and really deliver whatever it is that is needed in the moment, then a no really won't represent anything. You'll be completely neutral on it. And you won't have to get into all the mental stories and games we can play on ourselves. Because look, I've had sales calls before and I've told people no, because there are going to be, it may just not be a fit. Truly, you may not want to work with them. They may not, it just really might not be a fit. So yeah, I think just making sure we're not taking these things, the no's personally at all. I think that's the number one thing to go into the call with, just not taking that stuff personally.
So if you're not taking it personal, do you feel like no will hold you back from asking the hard questions or getting in there and diving in with them?
No, because I don't feel at the end of the day that it's about the yes or the no, it's about the service. And if you're putting attention on the service, if it's a fit and you are serving at your highest and best for their highest and best, you're still going to ask those questions. Because let's put it this way. If you just look at basic friendship, would you want your friend to be real with you?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why they're called friends.
Absolutely. So if you're doing your job, you're going to address those things, right?
So yeah. This really ties in with the very, in this series of videos we've done, this ties in with the first one about where's your mind holding you, or are you captive? Are you self-sabotaging? There's a whole list of things we can diagnose. But in any sale, we are there to listen, to relate, develop the relationship, to perform a service. Where is it that the breakdown happens? The memories, the scenarios, the stories you're telling yourself about the no, or because that really does tie into the self-sabotaging. So when we're working with clients, what do you see happening? I mean, you're the mindset coach. That's what we really work through, right? So what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be able to get present on the call, right? And that's something that you and I teach inside the course. But what happens, the majority of people, because they don't have the tools and strategies to deal with this, our minds, we have a very powerful memory bank, and we all have a past. And what the majority of people are doing are effectively living inside of their memory bank, seeing it through a certain filter. And then creating stories, because we also have great imaginations and we like to fantasize and things like that. We'll create stories before they ever even happen, and we'll completely skip over the present moment, where people are usually living in the past or in the future. And so this present moment can really get, skewed. And the call, if you're not there in that present moment, the call will suffer for it.
Absolutely. That's why, when we're training, we're always talking to our clients, like the sale happens long before the sale even happens. Like the sale is a lead up to it. As long as you're present, you're in the moment, you're digging in with them, you're talking to them, you're aware of what's actually happening in that moment, the sale's going to happen. But again, it's all about the sale before you even arrive at that sale. So early morning, what does it bring up for you in the early morning? What is the number one thing that you can relate to getting out of the story, or a surge of energy or whatever? What is it you like to talk about with clients?
I have a perfect example of this. Actually, I had crazy dreams last night, right? So what happens when we go to sleep, our subconscious unwinds, right? Like that's a big space of healing. Sleep is really important. Well, in order to wake you up in the morning, your cortisol spikes, which is your stress hormone, okay? So your cortisol spikes to wake you up. And most people immediately start their day with stress, whether it's checking their damn phone, watching the news, or playing their own stories. So if you don't get a handle on yourself first thing in the morning and get that mind in check, then you're already living from your memory bank or from the creation of more stories. So morning routine wise, Josh, this is very powerful for you.
Yeah, for myself, for everybody we work with. And again, to go back to the cortisol thing, it's really intense. If you do your studies on cortisol, it's known as the SAD drug, SAD signals. So to get out of that, like I've said this, I don't know how many times, I'll probably never get bored of saying it, but I was so ingrained in a routine I would do every morning for, I'd say 7 years minimum. And I would wake up every morning and I'd listen to the same 2 songs, and I'd shower in the time limit of those 2 songs. And I was out, shaved, teeth brushed. I had my clothes laid out from the night before. I was prepped. I was always ready to go. I had a mentor that would tell me that if he went out partying the night before, and sometimes they would tie it on and go out all night and just go wake up the next morning and go straight to work. He always had an extra set of clothes with him. Always. So being prepared, I always took that away. So I always laid my clothes out. That morning routine gave me a solid foundation to really, if anything came up throughout the day, or even getting rid of those bad dreams or whatever it may be, I had that solid foundation to say, fuck those stories. This is my story. I live now. This is who I am. Nobody can stop me. And that was entrenched and still entrenched. It brings up that immediate power coming from inside. It's not a story that
right.
I'm going to allow something to take over. I own this. So this really, again, I can't say this enough, ties back into the very first video we did a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, about prepping and allowing that self-sabotage. Just to talk about that briefly for a second, in that realm of self-sabotaging, those memories and stories and this sadness comes up. But we talk about the mechanics all the time. What is the one tool you use? I have the routine and I teach that to everybody. What is it that you find? I mean, you told me something the other day about Facebook that you were like, what is it you find is a good strategy?
Oh gosh, I employ quite a few things, but if you go back to video 1, it will show you the cycle. We run a cycle of either being inside of our power or feeling powerlessness. And so in video 1, we explain that. So go back. But first thing, don't check your damn phone.
Pretty straightforward.
That's the simplest thing you can do first thing in the morning is don't check that phone. Don't get on Facebook. Don't get on Instagram. Don't get on anything that sets that spiral going, and give that time to yourself first thing in the morning.
Absolutely. So we really commit to the process, not only from the second we wake up to the second we go to bed, it seems like, but besides, I think there's more of a commitment there. We walk the walk, we talk the talk. You know, that is really what it is for us, especially as trainers in mastery and sales. So we commit to the process. The trust automatically comes. But one thing we really don't talk about this, and I don't really like to talk about it a whole lot, but it's other training companies out there. And I just happened to the other day be in a group, and it's a sales group about helping salespeople. And then they asked what the best sleep aid was out there for. I'm like thinking to myself, where does this really come in? A lot of the sales trainers out there, they literally teach you to be an asshole or pushy or know-it-all, manipulative. Like literally they describe what would be, in my opinion, described as an abusive relationship. How would you describe the other side of it, Tracy, the too sensitive side?
So if you get too sensitive, then you end up not serving at your highest and best, because you get enrolled in their story. You get enrolled in their pain. You get enrolled in all their crap, and you feel so empathetic and so sensitive for them that then you're not even serving them at that point. You're just enrolled, you're in the trenches with them, and you're damn sure not going to sell them anything because you've lost all credibility, you've lost command of the call, and you've gotten in your own feelings. And that is just a wash. You just might as well hang it up. It's just a wash.
Very true.
You've entered the friend zone.
You've bad friend zone. You've entered the bad friend zone. So that is a skill set. I really think that it's true. It's a skill set to stand back and say, okay, yeah. Do you want to stay there? I mean, you could look at me like I'm an asshole, but I'm going to ask you the tough questions, because those tough questions really show your ruthless compassion to get them where they want to go. They bitch about not having it, not being there. You know, there's a couple people on the internet that I see sometimes, and they're talking about their Ferrari and I have a Lamborghini, and do you see my home? And it's like they start telling, like doing this storytelling of, I'm not going to be there. They've got this already. But then you find out that Lamborghini, that Ferrari, that Porsche, that house, it's all leased. They don't own a fucking thing. Then you build that story up even further. The skill set really should not be about bragging what you have, but digging in to help that client. That's all it is. You learn to stay present in that moment, and you let the natural course happen. That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah. And if you do that, then truly the client, if they're truly ready to work with you and do something about it, they are going to initiate the transition into the close themselves. They're going to ask what it's like to work with you, what it looks like, what it costs, and they're going to do it. So if you've done your job and both of you guys are a fit, it's going to be a very natural progression into that.
Not only a natural progression, but it's felt. When you dig in with a client, it's felt on both sides. You can feel their natural desire to want to work with you, and they can also feel your compassion to help them get exactly what it is you want. So that's what it boils down to. So hashtag push past the no is simple once you just show up, right? Just show up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Show up. So guys, we've mentioned it a couple times. We're still looking for 2 more. We've got 2 more people that are really coming into the, I don't know what happened to Tracy there. 2 more people as of right now.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Your computer or your camera went down. 2 more people to come into the 30-day intensive. We have clients as of now that are wanting salespeople, wanting people to sell their product, and they're coming to us. They have upwards of $5 million ad spend a year. They are coaches, entrepreneurs, people that really need the help. They're really wanting to gain the traction and get where they want to go. They've set some lofty goals. So they've come to Mastery in Sales not only to train new salespeople and people to help them get where they go, but they want people that are not only going to stick around and do the job properly. And so that's why they've hired Mastery in Sales to do that. So if that's something that interests you, get a hold of me. Best way to do it is on Facebook. Just message me or DM me on Facebook. Let me know that you're interested or you'd like to discuss that further. We'll help place you in that position as soon as possible. All right, guys. So this is Mastering Sales. Tracy, if you're still there.
I'm still here. My video is just not pulling for some reason.
All right. So we're done for the day, you guys. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you all guys soon.
Awesome. Bye.
All right, bye.